Hello and welcome to Floyd Models Kit Review Time. Today we've got nippers, side cutters, sprue cutters, whatever you want to call them, but here they are down in here. And I know what you're thinking, Phil, you've already got a pair of them. Actually, no we haven't. This is the new Mark III version, the STA 3.0. You might remember we had these. This is the 0.20, this is the 0.30, okay? So you guys who follow along with me know I am actually a big fan of these cutters. Sadly for me, about 6 months ago, I broke mine, which was a bit of a sad day because, to be honest with you, and here they are in their little mortuary box, but as you can see by the state of them, these are extremely well used, to the point where these are my go-to cutters since I've had them. And I've had them a couple of years now, and to be honest with you, I think bang for buck, easily these are the best. Okay, yes, you can go very, very expensive, and I have got God's Hands ones, which I pretty much say are the best that are out there, and I've got medium ones, which are like the Mr. Hobby single blade cutters as well, which are very nice. But these just felt right in the hand, and they did everything I could ever want them to do, right the way up until it went slightly awry on me, and we ended up with, hopefully you can see it, if I put a little bit of white underneath here you might see even more, but we have got a big old chunk, you can see here, right out of the middle. Okay, now I know what actually happened. They have down in them, if we just move this out of the way, you can probably see a little nut just here, which is done with a little key, which I'll just get my key here just to show you. So, you know, you could use pretty much anyone, but they do supply it, and you have a little one in here, and you can screw this in and out and all the rest of it to adjust the bite. Okay, but as you can probably see here, I've got a big old hob. So what's happened is, over time, this has physically worn down. Okay, and if you look on the other side in here, I've taken the spring out, you can probably see that little mark there. What that is the hardened steel, I assume, in this has slowly been pushing with every cut over time, just down and down, and I forgot to check it. To be honest, not many people do, but what happens is it's overbitten. It's put pressure into this here, as you can see, okay, and then it is literally put too much pressure and the blade has snapped. Okay, so before you're thinking, oh well, that's not very good, I'm not going to often buy them, everybody's does it, and I can show you, because these are God Hands ones, which, as we all know, are amazing. But if you notice on mine, the actual top of both ends of the tips has snapped as well, and that was just doing small stuff through Bandai and all the rest of it. So this is the big thing to remember with these before we get into the depths of it. These are designed for precision work. These aren't designed to be hacking through big bits of plastic and all the rest of it. If you want to do that, you need something with a bit more sort of, you know, mechanical type work with it. These are designed for taking small parts off the sprue, okay? Literally 1 or 2 mil is your maximum for this. You don't want to be chopping through 5 mil plastic, hard styrene, having to chew through it and all the rest of it. These aren't designed for that. These are designed for taking off those small parts extremely cleanly as well. So minimal cleanup, and that's what we're saying about it. So don't be thought, you know, well, obviously these aren't very good. But also the other thing as well, I've been using these solidly every single day for a good 2 years. Maybe even 3, actually, thinking about it. It's when they very first came out. Anyway, unfortunately, they did die. So I've been using, to be honest, my God Hands ones, which I've, to be honest, been doing a little bit of Bandai recently, and it broke on me. So I was like, oh, okay. And then I've been using these, which are the Mr. Hobby ones. Now, the big thing with all of these are single edge cutters. So what does that mean? Really, traditionally, if you look at most pairs of, like, you know, side cutters, things like that, it's 2 blades coming together and they do that. Okay, so both have an edge on them and they cut inwards. The thing is, in the center of the V causes pressure, which is being pushed upwards because these are squeezing down into it, and then it snaps the part. Okay, so the part is actually half cutting, half snapping as it comes off. If you ever do that thing where you cut and it pings off, that's what it is. The difference with these is, it's one is a stop side, so it's got a blunt side, the other is the blade, and it just comes along and cuts in. Okay, so it's not sort of making a diagonal wedge, it's just coming straight across and cutting. Okay, so what happens then is because it's just got one and there's no pressure, when you cut, it just sits there. and they are a lot sharper as well. They're thinner, okay? Because they're thinner, they're prone for breaking, okay? So if you want something that's a bit more heavy duty, industrial, things like that, there's lots of them out there. And as I say, I've got them for doing those types of jobs as well. But for day-to-day, you know, removing small parts, these are absolutely fantastic. So what is the difference between the 2, which is this one, and the 3, which is this one? So the first thing you might spot straight away is that the 3 is slightly bigger. Okay, if we're just here in the screen together, as you can probably see, it's just a little bit bigger, a little bit more chunky. All right, so if we do a quick side-by-side comparison between the 2 and the 3, you can see the bottom here. If we put this line up to top on here, okay, as you can see, it's a little bit bigger. The other thing as well, if you look at the blades, if we go corner to corner, a little bit trouble with the camera, you can see they are bigger. So there's a slightly bigger edge on this one. Again, I think when you look downwards like this, you can see it quite easily that, you know, if we do a side by side, they are a lot bigger. So there's a bigger cutting area here, which I think they're sort of halfway coming along with the sort of God's hands ones, bearing in mind I've taken the tip off of these. Okay, so again, it's one of those things, but again, they're very, very thin. And you've got one holder edge and one cutting edge. Okay, one's sharp, one's blunt on this. All right. So if we just grab a little bit of sprue, so these are really designed for cutting seamlessly through very nice stuff. So technically, this is the maximum width you want to be cutting with these. Ideally, you don't even want to be doing for this, but as you can see, it's a beautiful fine cut straight through. Okay, and if we just do another one, and you can see nothing pings. The big thing is when you look at it, there's no white on this, because again, it's a single cut coming across and it's just cutting it like that. The beautiful thing is with these, and if we just do it on here, if you come right up to this and you cut, we just turn around, okay, and we're coming this side and we cut, hopefully you can see there is absolutely minimal cleanup, absolutely almost flawless cleanup with this one, and the top just a tiny little bit of a peg up on there. All right, but again, they just cut through fantastic. So when you're doing small parts, for instance, and if we just cut these two here, little ones, I'm just going to come in here and here. So when you do this, as you notice, you come in and we cut, and there's no parts pinging off or flying through the air or anything else like that. And again, minimal cleanup on those, hardly anything. In fact, you probably don't even have to. And to be honest with you, when I was doing the Bandai kit, a lot of the times I didn't even bother cleaning up or sanding afterwards. You could just cut them off and away you go. All right, so this is it. I'm not trying to teach anyone how to suck eggs or anything on here, but honestly, if you've never used a single blade cutter, it does make a hell of a thing. Okay, so the box itself is an incredibly strong, hard metal, well, metal, wood almost, box. Okay, so in here you've got a little bit, and it's talking about, so you get your screwdriver, it's talking about obviously making the limiter, the regulator on this one to sharpen it down. It's talking about it here, so you have your parts and where it comes in, so one's a flat edge, one's a cutter and goes through. You do get a very nice case for it as well, so you get a little cover. Okay, so literally to keep them, and this is leather, by the way, it's a lovely leather smell. Okay, so these literally just fit in here to keep them nice and safe. It's a very nice way of doing it. Okay, and this is a little bit about the design for it. So what it's basically saying is good management. Cut it a little bit off of the part, and then you come in and go closer to do the cleanup, which is, you know, a very, very good way of doing it. All right. Over on the back here, it goes into a little bit more about how to use them. So it's saying first cut it away from it, and then you come in and do the cleanup afterwards. Okay, and again, orientation of the blades and the cutting of what you want to do and the various ways of going in as well. So again, it's worthwhile just having a quick look at this to understand how a single edge cutter works compared to a dual one. Okay, down in here as well, you usually get, I've already had the cloth out so I could show you, you normally get and you do, you've got a pull out card in here showing you literally all about the instructions of how to use them, about using the cutter and what you're looking for, just to make sure they keep nice and clean, and how they all last. It's basically the same as the other one is replaced. Okay, multiple languages on there, so we'll just pop that out of the way. Okay, so again, really nice. You get a nice little cloth as well for keeping your tool. nice and clean. And that. The thing is with DSPIAE products, I describe it like the Apple type thing, because when you come in with these, and we've just popped this one back together, you've got this situation, it's all falling out on me, where it's a joy to look at and buy their products. And if you're a little bit of a tool hoard like me, you love it, because again, these come in solid wood boxes or very high density cardboard, okay, and then you've got that sort of Apple iPhone unboxing experience as you make your way in to your blade and your cutter. One thing I would highly recommend though, to keep the longevity of these, is to every now and again test it, just to make sure how it's going. So the best way to do that, to be honest with you, you've got a little leaflet that comes with them. If you take some of these and then you put on and then cut, you get a little perfect cut in with these, okay? So you can just hear it click. That's all you want. You don't want it to be any more than that at all, okay? You just want to hear that little click. If it's going in and you're not really hearing it, it's just hacking through, it may be a chance to have a quick look at it. Because what you need to do every now and again, and I advise it every 6 months, is just check, because you can probably see in this one, there is no little dent in there. And I think it may have been, and again, these are different metal by the looks of it as well. Okay, when you see these, as you see the difference in the metals, I think they've upgraded the quality of the steel that they're actually using. So this one's quite a soft alloy, and as I say, when you open this right up, you can see that spot. That spot is where this guy's been pushing in. If I had have noticed it, chances are I would have come along and said, you know what, I think we need to somewhat adjust these. And again, probably need a better Allen key, but there we go. So this screws in literally, so you can adjust the bite. So you're just going to come in until it's roughly touching, just like that, okay, and then you can actually change the screw. This one on the outside, you just screw it like that, so now it is in. So when we do this now, it should be a small gap just between, and I know we've broken it, but hopefully I've made a little gap. So that's it now. It doesn't go. The reason for doing this is so you don't cause the overbite. The overbite puts pressure on that blade, and because it's extremely sharp is what has happened here, and mine's pinged off. All right, so you just have to be mindful of that. So good maintenance every 6 months. Clean all your tools, have a look, check your distances, make sure it's not overbiting or anything else like that, and you can go for it just like with that. I have to say, I love it. Thank you to Kareen, especially to Kareen, who's obviously the Brevco people, which is this one. You can find all of the DSPIAE tools at Brevco, for sending this one over to me. She sent me the original one back, which was 4 years ago now, and I've been using it every day since mine broke. And to be honest, with the troubles they've had with the COVID thing, they were out of stock of them. I tried to buy one, couldn't, and then she has sent me gracefully one of these over. But I have to say, even though this is a freebie from them, I will use it because it's fantastic, and bang for buck, I think it is absolutely amazing. It's pretty much on a par exactly with the God's Hand cutters, okay? And if you want something else as well, maybe a little bit more readily available, the Mr. Tool one as well, that is a very, very nice cutter as well. It's not quite as nice and refined as these two, but these in the hand feel almost identical. The spring feels very, very similar and everything else, and the way that they work seems to be incredibly similar from that point of view as well. So very, very nice tools. So there we go. That is the Mark III. As far as I can tell, it's just had an upgrade really in the actual metal that's actually used into it. Seems to be a little bit nicer. The blades are a little bit bigger as well than the original one. Apart from that, same great cutter, same great results. So if you are after them, please go and have a look at Brevco. I'll put the link down for their website down below. You can get them as always, and hopefully with the COVID business, they can still ship out to you quickly, so you can get your hands on these fantastic tools. So that's it from me. So that's the DSPIAE ST A 3.0 ultra thin single blade nipper.